Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to do so. It really means the world to me. In today's video, I will go through a list of things that are considered to be part of the broader luxury world, but I choose not to buy them. I obviously think that all of us are free to make choices about how we spend our money. And perhaps if I had an unlimited supply of money, I would not need to make choices. I could just buy absolutely everything. But in the real world, I have to prioritize. So today I will be sharing my prioritization with you. Namely, I will be sharing what I choose not to buy within this broader world of luxury shopping and luxury items. Oh, and by the way, before I get started today, I actually wanted to let you know that MyTheresa has an additional 50% off, or up to 50% off their sale items. I'm going to show you some of my favorites on the screen. I think right now could be a really good time to buy yourself something new for spring, something that was already on your wish list, and you might be able to find those items on sale on MyTheresa. Obviously, there are quite a few winter items in the sale as well, but I managed to find some really nice shoes and dresses and also handbags on sale for the spring. And I'm going to link some of my favorites in the description box down below. So let's start with luxury designer travel luggage. I perhaps spoke about this in one of my previous videos, but I feel like designer luggage with monogram and obvious branding just makes you a target. Unless you are flying private, of course. But even then, you would need to maybe take a car or check into a hotel, and I still feel like carrying a Louis Vuitton suitcase is just too much of an advertisement simply because of just the size of that thing. I think there are so many alternatives that are extremely functional and do not cost as much. I even stay away from Rimowa because by now I feel like everybody knows about those luggage bags and their costs. Plus, I have heard a lot of nightmare stories about Rimowa quality. My favorite luggage is actually Samsonite Cosmolite. I will put some pictures on the screen for you to see. And trust me when I say this, these bags can survive a nuclear blast. Well, not really, but I hope you get my point. One of these bags I have had for over 10 years, maybe up to 12 years, and it is going strong. And when I say 12 years, I really traveled all over the world during these 12 years, including to places like Iraq, Afghanistan, South Sudan, other countries in Africa, and this bag traveled with me, and it is still going strong aside from some scratches on the surface. Even if I wanted to buy a Rimowa luggage, I just do not have the need for it because these Samsonite suitcases are indestructible. And between my husband and I, we have 5 of these large suitcases of different sizes and 2 carry ons. So I think we are set. But in sum, I do not spend money on designer luggage. Louis Vuitton trunk bags and designer weekender bags are a bit of a different story. I might be open to purchasing one of those at some point in the future. But by far and large, I do not see myself spending money on a designer luggage. And my biggest consideration here is really quality, functionality, and security. And by the way, my name is Lisa and I'm your guide to savvy luxury shopping no matter where in the world you are. Subscribe to my channel to learn more about strategic luxury shopping with the emphasis on quality and timelessness of your items. At number 2 today, I want to talk about niche perfumes. So I feel like up to about 3 to 4 years ago, there was nothing wrong with buying Chanel, Prada, Dior, Hermes fragrances, and this was the space where we held our conversations. And, ballpark, those perfumes would cost you 150 to 200 US dollars, depending on the size. And I always thought it was a decent amount of money to spend on a perfume. But now, everyone is praising niche perfumes. I feel like that started with Baccarat Rouge 540. And those niche perfumes run at $300 and more. And we just kind of normalized paying over $300 for a perfume. And it has become kind of normal to have a collection of niche perfumes. But if I'm completely honest, I think $300 and more is a lot of money to pay for a perfume, especially if you have a collection of 7, 8, or 10 of them. That's a lot of money. And I have no idea how we normalized this notion and how we got to the point that Dior's and Chanel's and Prada's are just simply not good enough anymore. So in my world, I really do not spend that much money on a collection of fragrances or perfumes. I have probably a total of 4 in my collection right now, and judging by the current prices, I feel like all of them, or all of the ones that I have, are really mid-range. So my favorite fragrances are from Maison Margiela. That's probably not that surprising to you if you actually watch my channel. For the winter and the colder months, I really like this one right here. It is the Jazz Club fragrance from the Replica line. It is slightly sweet and kind of smoky, but not overbearing. And honestly, I feel like most of the fragrances in this Replica line are unique and interesting and not overdone. One of my most favorite perfumes is the Untitled, also from Maison Margiela. I believe it was their first fragrance ever. It is a unique unisex scent. It is green and crisp and very recognizable. I actually do not have it in my collection right now, but I would recommend you look into it if you're looking for something different and something that doesn't cost upwards from 300 US dollars. But in sum, I do not spend money on a huge collection of niche perfumes, and I feel like it is enough to have a couple of signature scents that you like, notwithstanding their price point. The next item on my list is luxury workout clothing. So previously, I talked about the fact that I like to occasionally buy Adidas by Stella McCartney workout pieces, and I prefer to buy them on sale. And this is still the case. But here I'm talking about brands like Pucci and Versace that also make athletic workout clothing. But I think that this is really more of a flex than anything else. I just think it is a bit too much. And if I'm buying something for my workout, I prefer to look at the functionality of the garment as opposed to the logo that is attached to it. And I honestly think that design houses like Versace or Pucci do not specialize in producing functional workout clothing. Plus, a lot of my workout clothing just doesn't last too long because I actually use it. So I would not want to spend money on something that will not last me for years. And I feel really comfortable with something mid-range like Adidas by Stella McCartney, but I would not really go above that level of expenditure. Now, let's talk about monogram pieces and logo t-shirts that are just a bit over the top. So, just like pretty much anyone who is into luxury, I have my own share of monogram pieces, and that includes handbags and some clothing pieces as well. I also have handbags, shoes, and clothing pieces with obvious logos. And I think there is nothing wrong with that. But as time goes by, I notice myself buying fewer and fewer of these items. And the reason is I want my wardrobe to be cohesive and usable. And I noticed that the more monogram or logo pieces I have, the more difficult it becomes to combine them into stylish and cohesive outfits. I do not have anything against an occasional monogram, but I have become increasingly careful about my choices, especially when it comes to monogram that has been quite overdone and is commonly seen everywhere. And here I'm really talking about things like Louis Vuitton monogram and maybe Gucci and Fendi and things of that nature. So, for example, I feel like Louis Vuitton monogram pieces are just really like mass market these days. We see them so often, the authentic items as well as the fakes, and that just kind of really puts me off. Just the sheer volume of these items makes them less and less and less appealing. I still like LV Monogram when it is a special piece or a one-off collection, like the Takashi Murakami collaboration, for example. But I am not interested in a simple Monogram Speedy or Neverfull, especially given that I already have a Monogram Fendi baguette bag and a Monogram Gucci belt bag. It just becomes too much. I do not want my collection to be filled with Monogram handbags and Monogram pieces. And the same kind of goes to logos on clothing. I have this one Balmain logo t-shirt, and I really do not wear it that much. I feel like I'm wearing a billboard advertisement when I put on this t-shirt, and I find it difficult to combine this t-shirt with other pieces in my wardrobe. So as time goes by, I am less and less inclined to spend money on pieces with obvious logos, unless there is something special and unique about them. And the last category for today is fairly broad. These are items that have been overdone on social media. So obviously, I consume a lot of luxury shopping content on social media, and I like seeing items that are popular and items that are trending. However, there is this fine line between trending pieces and pieces that become so oversaturated on social media that they completely lose their appeal because they just do not feel that special anymore. They start to feel like a mass market piece. So, for example, I feel like the Gucci Jackie bag is a classic, and while I have definitely been seeing it on social media, it has not been pushed as aggressively as some other Gucci bags. So, the Gucci Jackie Not a Mini bag, for example, has been marketed way too aggressively through influencers, at least in my humble opinion. And so I feel like these types of items tend to be overhyped for a short while and then they lose their appeal just as quickly. So when I start seeing something on social media that feels like it is being pushed too aggressively, I'm always very cautious about making a purchase. I just start feeling like those are the type of purchases that I end up regretting later. This does not mean that I do not buy the hyped items at all. It just means that I tend to think about them more carefully. Also, when something is overhyped and is visible everywhere, it kind of just loses its appeal. Overhyped items feel like mass market more than luxury. I feel that many designer brands, and perhaps Gucci is actually a good example, kind of lower their value because they are just so visible on social media through literally thousands of influencers and the stuff that they are trying to push. I do like a lot of Gucci items and I enjoy their fashion shows, but I feel like their social media presence is a bit overbearing and ultimately lowers the value of the brand. Some other examples of overhyped items are, in my opinion, the raw Margot bag. It was overhyped and got overexposed way too quickly. Then we also have the Andiamo clutch from Bottega, the Mio Mio Wonder bag, Alaya flats, Bottega drop earrings, and so on. In any case, if I see something very often on social media, I get tired of the item even before I actually manage to purchase the item. So I try to stay away from overhyped luxury items. Well, that's it for me today. Let me know in the comments, are there any particular things that you found yourself not buying? And before you go, please check out another savvy luxury shopping video right here. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Take care and bye bye.